I want to cover this off briefly because it's a question that I get a lot. Well, there's two questions I get a lot. One, how many different ways or how can you use the game? And I only designed the game for these top 3 ways, really. And I cover this off in a far broader conversation in the online masterclass. But the reason why I want to show you these 12 things is because the question I do get a lot is, how do I sell the game? And by sell the game, I don't mean like e-commerce sell the game, but how do I convince people that this matters or we should be using it? Or how do I get buy-in? And that's buy-in from the clients or buy-in with internally. So how do I get my leader to see this is important? And when I've been asked that question of late, I didn't really know how to answer the question, if I was honest. I've just sort of done it naturally by default because I've created this game and I talk about it a lot. It just happened. And because I've been asked a question more, I started contemplating actually, how do I do that? And what I've come to realize is that I start the conversation with trying to understand what's actually going on in the team and what the pain point is, which is not rocket science when it comes to sales or helping solve challenges, right? But once I understand that, then I can have a conversation about how the game can actually apply to that specific situation. And why that's important is because if I start the conversation with, well, this game can be used in 12 different ways, a lot of people go, you're a jack of all trades, which means you're a jack of none. And that's a reasonable response to that. What do you mean it can work in all those different ways? There's no way. And I struggle to be able to try to tell people it can be used in all these different ways, even though I know because I've used it in all these ways now. And so instead what I do is I'll find out what the challenge is. So with this government agency team, what their challenge is that they've got a team merger. So there's 10 new senior leaders coming together to create a new senior leadership team, and they're forming a brand new team. And so then I then shift the way I talk about the game to then be aligned to that problem. So from team mergers, if you've got a leadership team coming together for the first time, well, this game will help your leaders learn more about each other, help them connect, and help us have a conversation about the style of leadership and the environment we want to create as a new team. So that's sort of the approach I take to having a conversation around how to get buy-in to it at a high level. And the second part to it is I always have a pack of cards on me, like without fail, because when I talk to people about it, solely talk to people about it, it's sort of, people can grasp it rationally a little bit, but they still can't feel it. And so what I'll often then do is just get the cards out while we're having a cup of tea and go, should we just have a quick play? And we'll do the weekly retro, or we'll do the intention setting exercise. And in that moment, you're not having to create buy-in or sell it, so to speak, anymore, because they're experiencing it and they're making all these connections in their own mind about how it could work for their own teams. And it's an incredibly powerful moment. And then you can go imagine how it might work with your team. I did it with the Hurricanes with Arden, and we sat down for coffee and I got him to do it. And then he came up with the answers. Well, imagine if we did this. What if we did that? I can see it working like that. Me just telling him about it was helpful, but nowhere near as impactful as helping him experience it and then make his own connections. So always looking for the challenge that we're trying to solve, and then focusing my discussion on that, but also getting people to experience it at a small level. I've even in cafes, I know this is not that relevant for right now, but you can do it virtually with the PDF on the screen, right? So just quickly pick out the 5 things that you want to feel at work, or the 5 things you don't want to feel. For better or worse, I ran that check-in over a coffee with somebody here in Wellington, and the next day they said they handed in their resignation because they said they were feeling all of the things they didn't want to feel and feeling none of the things that they needed to feel to be successful. And it was a moment where they felt empowered to then do something about it. And that was over like a 45-minute, 50-minute coffee where I just had the cards and we had a play. They've gone on to use the game in lots of different ways in their next job. But yeah, don't underestimate the power of getting people to feel it, experience it before you spend too much time rationalizing it to people.